3D Mario. Mario games has been bringing us joy since 1996. Whether it was Mario 64 or Mario Galaxy or the most recent Mario Odyssey, we've all had the pleasure of playing a 3D Mario game, even if it was for one level. But for the players that have had the pleasure of playing almost every single 3D Mario game, aka me, we all have that one level that we absolutely love and will replay it at any chance we get, and we all have that one level that can go jump off a cliff. I mean, I remember the first time I ever played Mario 64 and my emotions went from high up to the lowest point ever. Possibly the first game I ever cried out of anger for. But anyways, my point is 3D Mario games have some great levels and also some bad levels, with bad meaning annoying and irritating. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the best and the worst levels in 3D Mario games. A couple of things to point out before we start here. One, this is completely my opinion, so don't bash me in the comments when a level you like is called bad. And two, I'm sorry, but I will not be including Bowser's Fury in this video because Bowser's Fury doesn't have levels and there really isn't any hard shines to get per se, if you know what I mean. And three, Mario Odyssey doesn't really have levels either, but I'm instead going to be talking about the best and the worst moons that are fun / horrible to get, because all the moons in the game actually have a certain way to get them, like an objective in a level. So without further ado, let's get on with it. First game on the list is obviously Super Mario 64. Released in 1996, it instantly became a classic, and fast forward nearly 30 years later, the graphics may not be all that, and the controls can definitely be very tedious at times. It's still a good and classic game. Now with that being said, I thought hard and long about my choices for the best and the worst, considering every level in this game has both good and very annoying aspects to them. So now, what's the best level in Mario 64 and what's the worst? Well, in my opinion, the best course in Super Mario 64 is the Big Penguin Race in Cool Mountain. You're probably thinking that is the most generic level I could pick, considering there are literally 2 other slide levels in the game, but just hear me out. In a game like Super Mario 64, it's very comforting getting to this level in the playthrough. Why? This game is filled with levels that will legit make you scream at the top of your lungs. Whether it was the controls that made you fall off, a moving part that made you fall off, or maybe you got distracted and fell off, this game will have you rage at least once. So when you get to a level like Big Penguin Race, it's very refreshing because all you have to do is stay on track. It's like Mario Kart. And why did I choose this specific slide course? Well, because it's really the only slide course where you can race something, and that something is the Big Penguin. Whereas in the other slide courses, the only objective is to make it to the goal. So at least in this slide course, you can race something and you can even time yourself personally and keep going for a new record. So in my opinion, the best course in Mario 64 is the Big Penguin Race. Now for the worst level in Mario 64. I said I took a long time to think about what's the best and what's the worst, but I was really saying that for the best level because when it came to the worst level, I automatically knew what it was going to be, and that's Wing Mario Over the Rainbow. At first glance, this level looks like heaven and the scenery is just beautiful, and that's how they get you. Once you start playing, you realize this is the absolute worst Mario 64 level and probably the worst Mario level out there. If you've played Mario 64, there's a good chance you've touched the wing cap before, but if you haven't, just know that it's not the easiest to control. So the goal of the level is to get all the 8 red coins scattered all over the place, and these red coin placements can be ridiculous. I mean, look at this one. It's under the clouds and you have to grab the pole to get it, but if you miss the pole, you might as well just give up. And I don't know if it's just me, but in this specific level, the wing cap speed is at an all-time high compared to the other wing cap levels. The whole level will just have you raging and your heart racing, and I'm surprised I completed it considering how bad I am at video games in general. But if I remember correctly, it took me days to do it. Just know that Wing Mario Over the Rainbows and the wing cap is the bane of my existence. And don't even get me started on the other levels that involve the wing cap. Still got major love for this game though. Now let's move on to Mario Sunshine. Now, I love this game like every Mario game, but even with it having better controls and better graphics than Mario 64, I feel like this game could have even more rage-filled moments than ever. But I'm going to get into that when I talk about the worst level, but for now, I want to praise the best level in the game, which is actually a boss fight, the Mecha Bowser boss fight, which is the first shine you'll get at Peanut Park. This is definitely up there in my favorite Mario boss fights, because this fight is literally so good. In this fight, you literally ride a roller coaster and you have to pick up water rockets on the tracks, which Flood can hold, and you have to aim and shoot at Mecha Bowser until he's defeated. Mecha Bowser can shoot bullet bills at you and also breathe fire at you. I just think this is the coolest boss fight in the game, and I even replay it from time to time. And it's very rare that I replay boss fights in video games. For me, it's the first person roller coaster ride while trying to defeat a fire-breathing, bullet-shooting robot with water rockets. You can't just sit there and tell me that doesn't sound cool at all. So yeah, good boss fight, good level, and just good overall. Now, this worst level. I feel like a lot of you will agree with me on this one. It's not the lily pad level or not even the pachinko level, even though they both are awful. The worst level in this game is most definitely the Secret of the Village Underside, aka the Chuckster level. The rage this level gave me is unreal. This level gave me nightmares. If you ever played this level, you will understand why. First off, just getting to the level itself can be a challenge. You have to get a fruit to get the Yoshi and then try not to fall while jumping on these small mushrooms, and God forbid you lose Yoshi on the way because you might as well just give up everything if you do. And then once you finally get to the level, Metal Mario takes FLUDD away from you, so now you have the main thing you need taken away from you. Also, make sure you're stocked up on lives because you will pretty much lose most of your lives on this level. These Piantas you see call themselves Chucksters, and if you go up and talk to them, they'll say, I'm a Chuckster, and then literally chuck you up in the air to the next part of the level. But instead of chucking you to the next part, they like to chuck you literally anywhere else but the next part. Whether it's over the next part, under it, or to the side of it, they will not help you at all. You could be the tiniest, ittiest bit off the camera angle and you might as well just kiss the shine goodbye. And yes, I do realize that I have to be precise with it. You have to make sure Mario and the Pianta are positioned correctly, but even then, who knows where they'll actually chuck you until you try it. This level is just so irritating and tedious. I'm pretty sure a lot of people broke their controllers while playing this one. So yeah, this level is just plain awful. Still got major love for this game though. Now let's move on to Super Mario Galaxy. I will admit, I personally do believe this game has less rage-filled levels compared to the last two, considering it's kind of a peaceful game, but believe me when I say it definitely has its fair share of rage-filled moments. But most of all, it's a pretty chill and fun game. And that brings me to the best level in Galaxy, which is yet again another level based on Mecha Bowser, the Heavy Metal Mecha Bowser level, which is located in Toy Time Galaxy. Yes folks, I love the Mecha Bowser levels in any Mario games. I feel like this level and the fight for Mario Sunshine is up there on the same level. In Galaxy, you're climbing up this robot while disassembling it by unscrewing the screws which are found all over the robot, while also knocking out enemies like these Mecha Koopa spin-offs. I don't really know the name to this one, but they're definitely not a Mecha Koopa, or even bats. The end is definitely the most satisfying part when you equip the Spring Mushroom and literally ground pound these stacks of stone circles, which leads into the robot, destroying everything entirely. That's definitely my favorite part. Even though it's a quick and short level, it's packed with obstacles and just things to keep you busy. Now on to the worst level. I will say I did have a hard time choosing between three different levels: the two Battle Rock and Dreadnought's Garbage Dump, which are found in the Battle Rock and Dreadnought's Galaxies, and Luigi's Purple Coins, which are found in Toy Time Galaxy. I mean, they're all so similar. They're all timed, they're all awful, and they all gave me PTSD. But I ultimately chose the Luigi's Purple Coins level, and I will tell you why. Basically, in Luigi's Purple Coins, you have 3 minutes to collect only 100 purple coins that are found on this 8-bit Luigi, even though there are actually 150. Sounds easy at first, right? Well, you be all the way wrong. The ground is filled with moving or either disappearing floorboards, or even green poison that you can drown in, or even no ground at all. And by the way, the moving and disappearing floorboards will continuously keep on moving, and the disappearing floorboards will never come back throughout the entire level. This level is near impossible. When I was 100%ing Mario Galaxy, this was the last star I had to do, and mind you, I just completed the Garbage Dump level, so I was already heated from those. It took me hours in a whole other day just to do this level. It's so infuriating. You either run out of time, fall off, or just rage quit. Show a picture of this level to any Mario Galaxy fans and they might actually disintegrate. I mean, rewatching a video from this level for this video had my heart beating like crazy. I just really hate this level. It's awful. Still got major love for this game though. Now let's move on to Super Mario Galaxy 2. Now believe it or not, me, Mario, a Mario advocate, have never actually played Mario Galaxy 2 a day in my life.
What?
I know, but trust me, I will get to it soon, I promise. But you may be wondering, how in the world am I going to tell you which levels are the best and the worst when I've never played Mario Galaxy 2? Well, I hit up my good friend Martin Makes Memes over on Instagram and asked him what he thinks is the best and what is the worst levels in the game. He says the best level in the game is the Throwback Galaxy. Now he didn't specify which star, mostly because I didn't ask him and I didn't want to barbait him with questions, but he just said he likes the level basically because it's a nice little reference to Mario 64, which I completely get. And he also said the worst level in the game is definitely the Stone Cyclone Galaxy. And I'm assuming he is definitely talking about the one where you have to complete the first mission within 20 seconds and you have to collect clocks to extend your time. He says he thinks this is the worst because it just gives him PTSD, which I don't blame him for because that description alone is terrifying. So there you have it. Do you agree with his picks? Let me know or let him know. Go ahead and follow him on Instagram. He posts some really funny stuff. And you know, while you're at it, go ahead and follow me on there too. Now let's move on to Super Mario 3D land. Heads up, this section does have spoilers if you haven't played the game yet. Being on a handheld console like the 3DS, the levels are kind of short, which is why we basically get like a whole other game with the 8 special worlds we can go through after we're done with the main game, which I think is cool. I mean, we get more content after the main game, but with the inclusion of more levels means there are going to be more chances for rage-filled moments during gameplay. And believe me, especially being on a 3DS with a not so easy to navigate camera, you will get some rage-filled moments. But before I talk about that, let's talk about the best level, which is World 3 Airship. Basically just a simple airship level, but I personally feel like it's more obstacles and just more to do compared to other airship levels. And it's fun to keep on your toes trying to avoid everything. You see, there's a fun kind of challenge, and then there's a challenge kind of challenge, if you know what I mean. And I think this level is a fun kind of challenge. Plus, you fight Boom Boom at the end, which is incredibly easy. But now, let me talk about the worst level, which is the very last level of the special worlds and the very last level in the whole entire game, the Special 8 Crown level. Being the last level in the whole entire game, you would think it would at least reward you for what you had to endure playing this game. But no, it literally just makes your life way harder. Not only is it filled with hard obstacles and 2 bosses in the same room, but there's absolutely no checkpoints at all. So if you're all the way at the end of the level and you die, you might as well just throw your 3DS out the window. Needless to say, this level is obviously not the easiest. And in order to 100% it, you need to make sure you get every star coin, get to the top of the flagpole, and replay the level with Luigi. Imagine doing all that and doing that to the rest of the levels in the game. Whew, for a 3DS level, it's definitely a lot to do. Still got major love for this game though. Now, let's move on to Super Mario 3D World. Heads up, this section also has some spoilers if you haven't played the game yet. Back on the consoles now, and 3D World legit has a lot to offer like the other games. I feel like this game has less rage-filled moments because while I would get furious with some levels, I really do feel like this game is pretty peaceful. But like I said, it's definitely got those levels where it'll have you rip your hair out. But now, let's talk about the best level, which is 3-6 Mount Mustache. Who doesn't love a good Mario Kart reference every once in a while? This course is basically Mario Kart with the music, the boost pads, and even remaking the road, and I love every minute of it. It's fast paced, fun, and even better when it's with friends. Not to mention the green stars are actually easy to find along with the stamp, and I absolutely love this slide section right here. It's just a quick little level and a very nice reference to Mario Kart. I love it. Now, let's talk about the worst level. Just like Super Mario 3D Land, the worst level in the game is the last level ever, which is Champions Road. When I tell you this level is actually worse than Special 8 Crown, you better believe it. The amount of lives I've lost going through this level is unimaginable. Half the time when I played this, I could barely get past the first part, or at least this part with the timing blocks that can go on and off. And worst of all, just like Special 8 Crown, there are absolutely no checkpoints. So if you fall, you might as well just give up everything. And it's even longer than Special 8 Crown, so you have even more chances to mess up. It's so hard, I had to have a friend help me beat this. It's just so aggravating and irritating. I mean, you could be 1 pixel off on something and still fail. This little pattern Nintendo makes where the last level just has to be the hardest thing imaginable needs to stop immediately. Still got major love for this game though. Now let's move on to Super Mario Odyssey. Now if y'all know me, y'all know that my all-time favorite game is Super Mario Odyssey. And of course, if y'all have played Odyssey, you would know that there aren't really levels, just kingdoms you travel to and moons you can collect, as it's an open world game. So how am I gonna do this? Well, like how I mentioned in the intro, I'm just gonna say what's the best and what's the worst moon to get in the game. Keep in mind there are 999 moons to collect. So if you don't agree with my picks, then why don't you go through the list of all these 999 moons and get back with me. Now, what's the best moon to get in the game? Well, I think it's the traditional festival found in the Metro Kingdom. This might be one of my all-time favorite Mario courses ever actually. It takes place during the Metro Kingdom Festival after you gather all the musicians. It's also all in 2D until the end. It's a big reference to Donkey Kong and kind of just a reference to the classic 8-bit Mario era. The environment, the music, the obstacles, and to top it all off, you get to defeat an 8-bit Donkey Kong. This is like the coolest Mario level ever, to be honest. Y'all know I love a good Mario reference about anything every once in a while, so this has to be the best level or moon to get in the game. Now this worst level was very easy for me to choose. It was the Iceburn Circuit Class S moon, or the racing minigame found in Snow Kingdom. I genuinely don't know what the developers were on when they decided the difficulty level for this race, but the difficulty is just through the roof. Not only did it take me days to finish this, it was one of the last moons I had to get for 100%, and it wasn't making my 100% completion any better. It's like the other racers just have it out for you and it's near impossible to win. And when I did win, I won by like a millisecond, by a landslide. I feel like it was just luck that I won. Listen, there was a Class A race just like this one, which was much easier, and I understand wanting to do another race that's similar and added a bit more difficulty, but this This is just too much. But hey, I got it days later and never looked back. So the people that are still stuck on this level, I will be praying. Still got major love for this game though. And that was the best and the worst levels in all the 3D Mario games. That was a lot, wasn't it? Don't agree with my picks? Let me know down in the comments. I do read the comments. And if you like what you saw, consider subscribing. I post a lot more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.